world. And hi everyone in the Facebook world. So we're doing Instagram and Facebook again. So I'm kind of liking this. I have a little bit of iced coffee this morning. It's quite tasty. I made it myself in my love mug. If you haven't figured it out, kind of a lover, you know. But how are you? How are you today? How was your week? Did you make it through okay? Is it the same week and weekend pattern for you? Do you have a normal work week and then the weekends? Or are you one of those who your world has shifted and now you have just rotating days? Just the same over and over again, and it isn't quite a week and a weekend thing. How is it for you? What are you doing differently with this time that is beneficial for you? What are you doing to connect with people if you're staying at home and being quarantined? How are you connecting with people? One thing I like to do is video call people. You know, you just catch them off guard. Right, Katie? You just catch them off guard. And just call them. Just have fun with them. You know, I think it's a good time. I like it. I like video calling people, connecting and laughing. And when you connect with people and you're really in the present moment, you actually forget about everything else going on. You're just right there with them, just like I am with you here right now. I love it because whatever else is going on, whatever else I have in my day, all the things that I have to do, just FYI, not worried about them right now. I get to be here with you, and this is the most important place to be ever. So I think that is what our present moment practice gets us, is as we focus more on being present, we really get to feel what it's like to appreciate exactly who and what we are with and doing in that moment. I love that. So I'm excited to do this meditation with you today. And I've had so many interesting aspects to my week. One thing I really love about what I do as a coach is because of my work, I've learned a lot about how everyone in our world is really our reflection. And so sometimes we can become critical of people outside of us, and we can see all the things that they're doing wrong, or we can have judgments and opinions about the way that they're navigating certain things. And one thing I've learned is that no matter how people choose to navigate things, when I can find fault or frustration or feel some level of discomfort towards the person, I'm doing my best to identify what is the reflection that I'm seeing in them that I am judging in myself. It's kind of a challenging thing to learn, but it's really useful. And so I really appreciated that in this week I had one of my clients talking about how crazy everything is going on and the amount of fear that this person became overwhelmed with just in an instant, almost just like a rabbit hole, right? You find one thing that's, oh my gosh, and it, makes our fears seem real and true. And then all of a sudden now you're on this narrow visioned path, and now you're looking for everything to affirm that truth. And very quickly we can get into that space, and it can really drag our energy down. So I want to challenge you in this time, as much as there are many people choosing fear, I want to challenge you to really focus on expanding in this time. Don't constrict, don't restrict, don't get smaller, don't shrink. I know that's what a lot of the world is doing in response to this circumstance. But I'm telling you that how you show up and how you respond is going to deeply impact the experience that you had months and years from now. It's because of how you choose to expand right now, not because you choose to mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically curl up into the fetal position and hide. That's not going to help. It's going to lower your frequency. It's going to increase your fear. And in those moments, we become so much more susceptible to illness and disease. So let's focus on how we can expand right now so that our mind is focused on this expansion and wellness and growth and abundance instead of focusing on, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, what's going to happen? I've got to hide. I can't talk to you. I can't see you. I can't touch you. You're contagious. Let's be infectious. Let's be infectious with our love. Let's be infectious with our gratitude, with our abundance. And so the way we do that is we expand. We expand our heart. We expand our mind. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm so glad to be here with you today. I'm so glad we get to do this. Every day we get to do this. Every day we get to come together and connect with people all over who choose to water their roots. I love that. Don't you love that? I do. So today we're going to start just like we normally do with our breath. We're going to start with our breath work, focusing on expansion today. We're focusing on expansion, and the very nature of breath work is exactly that. It's expansion. It's focusing on expanding in your diaphragm, expanding in your chest, letting all of that oxygen come in, and then exhaling what we no longer need. It's incredible the process that our body does with breath. It blows me away. We take something out of air, turn it into something useful, and release what is no longer useful for us. Isn't it amazing? So many things we can learn from just in what we do every single day. I love that breath is exactly that. Expansive, and then we release. We expand, and then we release. And that's exactly what we're working on right now, in this time, where everybody wants to constrict and freak out. We're going to expand. We're going to keep going this way, and we're going to get so big with so much love and so much abundance and so much gratitude. Let's be infectious with that. Let's infect everybody with that. So today with your breath and today in your meditation, that's exactly what we're going to do, is focus on expansion. Take this time, set everything else aside for a minute. Just be here. Just be here. I see you and love you, love you, love you. Okay, just be here. Let's just be here for this moment. You can worry about whatever else you got to worry about after, but let's expand right now. So go ahead and find yourself a comfortable seating position where you can relax and where you can focus on trying not to be super fidgety. And you can just be here and focus on expansion. Allow your mind, as we do this work, to begin expanding and allow everything within you that is good to expand. So I sit with my palms open and my heart open, and we're going to focus on your breath. We're going to do our 6-second count in and our 6-second count out. So again, when you breathe in, I want you to expand in your belly, then allow the air to move to your chest, expand in your chest, and then exhale, letting it go. So breathing deeply in and exhaling. 6 seconds in and 6 seconds out. If your brain likes to wander, how you begin to teach it to come back to your breath is to count 1, 2, 3 until your mind comes back to your breath. And then here you are, just focusing on your breath. Allow everything else to tune out. Just focusing on your breath. Deeply in and letting it go. 6 full seconds count in. 6 full seconds exhaling. Maybe you're so focused on your breath and the expansion in your diaphragm and your chest that you can actually feel the air passing through the edges of your nose. Very good. Just being here, be present, just with your breath. As I begin to connect in with my breath, it allows me to focus on this moment everything that I want to focus on within. And I can tune out everything else. Breathing deeply in and deeply out. Think about the expansion in your body to welcome in the air that gives us life. Good. I want you to continue breathing through our meditation today in an expansive way. Focusing on allowing your body to open and expand to let air in. As you for quite as long. Continue to allow for expansion as you breathe. So as we do a body scan, I'm going to allow you to go through this body scan on an individual basis. I want you to go from the top of your head down to the base of your feet, as quickly or as slowly as you can allow for a release of any tension that you become aware of. Going from the top of your head only as quickly as you can allow for a release of any tension that you become aware of. Notice anything that comes up, any pain, any fear, any frustration, any tightness in the body. Really just focusing on expansion and release. As you go through this body scan, the thing I want you to think about, in expansion, imagine if you were to grab a jacket or a blanket, and when you reach down with your hand and you grab it, you are able to squeeze it because it restricts, it closes. But imagine taking that blanket, and imagine people are pulling on the corners of it and stretching it till it is taut, till it is incredibly tight. And now you try to grab it, but you can't because it's expanded and open. We work the same way. Within, the more we become expansive, the less the things that cause us fear and restriction can take hold, because we are choosing expansion and openness. So in my body, when I find places of tightness, I do my best to think about opening them up, stretching them, expanding them, so that nothing can take hold, squeeze, or restrict any energetic flow in that space. So today, in this moment, I want you to become aware of some of those restrictive and fearful thoughts that have been rotating in your mind, maybe even on a loop. Maybe they keep coming up. Maybe it's about your kids and their school or their mental health as they go through this change. Maybe it's about your work, your job, what's going to happen, what does it mean? Maybe it's about your loneliness and the fact that being away from other people is really challenging. Maybe it's your partnership. Maybe you're spending a lot more time with your partner and now you are all up against some different challenges. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a lack of discipline. Maybe you've just been feeling a lot more down and depressed. Maybe you've been feeling like you're not good enough, or that you can't make it through this. Maybe you're frustrated with the government and the job they're doing. Maybe you're upset at this thing that's happening. It's completely changing the way you have to function right now. Whatever it is that's looping around, I want you to become aware of it. Whatever frequency of fear, frustration, anger, hurt, shame, guilt, whatever it is that you've been holding on to, I want you to imagine that you take it with your hands, and I want you to just set it down. I want you to set it down for a moment. And imagine if we set it down for a moment, we now have some room. We have some room within when we remove that. Just set it down for a minute. Imagine if you're setting it out in front of you so that you can take a few steps back from it. You can pick it back up, you can hold it again, but just put it down for a minute. And now I want you to imagine walking around it and looking at it from all sides. This frustration, this fear, this agitation, this shame, guilt, sadness, loneliness, whatever it is. I want you to walk around at a full 360 degrees. I want you to recognize that it is something that you are adopting and choosing for the moment, and that that is okay, and that we also have choices. And maybe we can expand in our way of thinking, and maybe we can expand in our expression of love and self-love, and maybe we can expand in our way of gratitude and choosing gratitude. And if we do that, maybe those fears and frustrations, those unwanted feelings and emotions will shrink, maybe even dissipate, maybe even go away completely. Let's just begin with expanding first, now that we've cleared some space within. Now that we're a blank slate a bit, an open space. Let's think for a moment about how to expand our heart with love and gratitude. What would expanding your heart with love feel like? Maybe it would be some affirmation of your capabilities. Maybe it would be some truth about who and what you are. You are good. You are capable. You are resourceful. You are open. You are expansive. You are loving. You are gracious. You are kind. You are strong. You are courageous. And what else? Keep filling your heart. Fill up yourself with who and what you are. That is the truth. And let's imagine fortifying ourselves with gratitude. I am so thankful for, regardless of what it was that we put down for a minute. I'm so thankful for this moment. I'm so thankful for loving people around me. I'm so thankful that I have a roof over my head. I'm so thankful that I have food that I can eat. I'm so thankful that I'm aware that I have a choice each and every day. I'm so thankful for my children. I'm so thankful for the ability to grow. And what else? Let's fill up our insides for a moment with love and gratitude. Let's fill up and leave very little room for those unwanted emotions. Let's become familiar with what it feels like to open and expand. Now, as you think about what it was that you set down for a moment, outside of yourself, what is the truth that if you knew would allow that fear or unwanted emotion to get smaller? What is the truth that would allow you to expand bigger? What is the truth? I don't need to be fearful of things outside of my control. I don't have to worry when myself or others are in pain, as it might be a part of our journey and our learning, so as to expand. I don't have to hold on to bitterness, frustration, anger towards anyone else, and that letting go will allow me to expand and be more free. I don't have to absorb what other people say that is hurtful or negative, as it is simply a reflection of what they are, or a projection of what they are experiencing themselves. I can pack myself so full of love and gratitude that I just keep expanding and getting bigger and bigger, and more room for love and gratitude happens within, and less room for those unwanted emotions as they begin to become squeezed out. Tell yourself the truth. For most of us, that is some element of surrender and letting go of trying to control something that is not within your control. To expand, we must surrender. So just let go for a minute and feel what it feels like to keep getting bigger. What does it feel like for your energy and your sense of being to begin expanding? Imagine this energy field that exists around you, and it does. And I want you to imagine pushing it further and further out, as if you have the ability to extend the ripple further and further and further beyond you. That frequency of expansion and love and gratitude. Grow it. Grow it so big that you can see it spreading in the houses and the people beyond you, in the places beyond you, into the people you love, into the people you want to pray for and wish well for, into the people who've expressed their pain and their suffering. Grow and expand that ripple of love and gratitude so wide beyond yourself that it can reach anyone and everyone who needs it. All of those who come to your mind and come into your heart, expand it all the way out to them. Connect in with your breath and expand your breath, deepening your capacity to grow and expand. And so as you've connected to this expansion, I want you to notice, if you have the desire, to pick up what it was that you put down, or maybe it's not even there anymore. Maybe you don't have to pick it up. Maybe it feels better to be expanded and open and welcoming, because we already know all of the abundance that is happening. I invite you to focus on that expansion today. To pay attention when those thoughts come in that want to cause you to restrict, and instead choose expansion. Pour love and gratitude into it and expand. So let's expand with our breath now, coming back to our deep breath in and our long exhale, 6 full seconds. Breathing in and exhaling. Very good. Again, deeply breathing in and exhaling, letting it all go. Good. Breathing deeply in and exhale, letting it all go. We're going to do 2 more just like this. Breathing deeply in and exhale, letting it all go. 1 more. Breathing deeply in and exhale, letting it all go. Ooh, love is big. And gratitude is big. How are you feeling today? I just got news that my IG feed cut out. Let's see here. Well, I tend to You know what? I have to tell you a funny story as I try to resolve this Instagram situation. I'll just not worry about that right now. So maybe my assistant can come over and take care of that Instagram situation. So I'm sitting here and these flies are just buzzing around me. And so at first I'm trying to do this very subtly to get rid of these things. And then I just let go and said, okay, I just need to let go of trying to control it. I'm just going to let them be. And so I did. And sure enough, as soon as I did, they went away. They just stopped. Oh, we got IG feedback up. All right, here we go. All right, sorry everyone for the cutout there on the meditation. It's going to be on Facebook, and so please forgive me if you were on there. On Humble Lion Coaching Facebook, so you'll be able to catch the whole thing because I'll share it. So just letting go of all of these little things, and I just remembered that exactly what those tiny little flies buzzing around were those little annoyances, those pesky emotions that we allow in and we start paying attention to. And as soon as we do, now our mind is focused on those emotions. And maybe that fear and maybe that unwanted frustration or the bitterness or the lack of control that we might have. And we start focusing on that. And so guess what? It gets bigger, and that's all we start noticing. Whereas when we let go and I focused instead on expanding, and I focused on expanding that love and that gratitude, I stopped noticing anything else. And I really started focusing on how to expand that gratitude and love out, stretching it out. And literally people started coming into my awareness, and I was expanding it much like water would ripple when you throw a rock in. And I started focusing on how to do that to other people. Paul says, love and peace to you this morning. Did a solid CrossFit workout prior. Thank you for another delicious meditation. I love that. It was delicious, wasn't it? I love you, Paul. And thank you and peace to you today too. So did anyone else notice anything else coming up for them? What about when you took time to set down whatever it was that you were feeling or frustrated about? Were you able to set it down, walk around it, move far away from it enough to be able to then choose to focus on expansion? How did that tool work for you? It felt really, really good for me, and it's often something I have my clients do. I have them imagine taking this something that's overwhelming in their mind out and setting it down for a minute and walking around it. And that helps us get a little bit of separation from the attachment of the idea or whatever it is that we're holding so tightly to. And sometimes just getting a little bit of separation from that allows us to think differently. So it's like loosening the boundary of a belief sometimes that's so tight. Sometimes we just have to loosen it a little bit. And just with it loosened enough, we can begin to think a little differently, gain a little perspective. And oftentimes it's just that we need, that perspective shift, to be able to see a little bit differently. And just in that moment, now we're able to think and create and find another opportunity. Katie says, yes, it felt so good and it disappeared. So amazing. Right, Katie? You can use that tool anytime you want. You can take something that we're obsessing about that's causing us frustration or something negative, pull it out, set it down for a minute, walk around it, get a little bit of distance from it so that we give our mind and our heart permission to think differently and feel differently about it. So awesome. This is expansion, y'all. This is what expansion does for us in this time where many are restricting out of fear. Expansion allows us to see beyond that. We cannot see when we're in restriction. It's like this, and all we're fixated on, like this, is this thing that we're afraid of. And you stop being capable of seeing differently. You stop being capable of finding an alternative option or even an alternative way to think. And this is why we have to really stretch beyond restriction. So I challenge you today to focus on how can I expand. And you're going to notice, if you're paying attention, these ideas and thoughts coming in that want to cause you to restrict and shrink in fear or frustration or bitterness or resentment or anger or shame or guilt. And instead push them out, stretch them out, push out with love. Decide not to choose that, or take it out for a minute, set it down, and begin to gain some perspective. I hope you have an incredibly expansive day today, one that is so full of love and goodness. I am so deeply grateful for all of you. I love you so, so much. And I hope today just helps you to expand and grow beyond maybe even what you thought was possible, even just a little bit. And I hope we do that every single day. We will be here again on Instagram and on Facebook live tomorrow, which is Sunday at 10 a.m. I can't wait to see you. And then, of course, Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. I love you so, so much. And remember, each and every day, and especially today, know your worth.